Welcome to another Azure Guide video where hands-on learning is priority one. I'm an Azure Administrator, an Azure Security Engineer, Azure Solution Architect, as well as a Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. Welcome to my CKA series of topics. This is part 3 of Topic 1, Manage Cluster Nodes. This series will focus on managing cluster nodes. Part 1 was we marked a node such a way that any new pods do not be created on it. Part 2 was add additional node. Part 3 is to make a backup. And then part 4, configure a new node to start a static pod. Steps to back up the ETCD database. Check the installed version of ET control. Get the pod name running ETCD. Subscribe to the ETCD pod. Set the API version to 3. And finally, run the magic command. Alright, steps to back up the ETCD database. First thing I want to do is check the installed version of ETCD control and install it if necessary. And I think the best way to do that is to go to our Kubernetes documentation, type in etc backup, and let the search engine do its job, and we want this one right here. And the reason I'm doing it this way is we don't have to remember any commands. I'm scrolling down, looking for this command here. If we take this and paste it into our control node or a master node, it will tell us the version number, and if it's not installed, give us a command to install. So here we go. That is the command that will come up if it's installed. Now I have a clip of a video I'm going to paste in that'll show you what it looks like if it's not installed. If it's not, we'll give us a command to install it. And you can see that it was not found, but it can be installed with blah blah. So I will go ahead. Go with that. Pretty good here, huh? All right, the next step is to get the pod running ETCD. So I'm going to do a kubectl get namespaces. And the pod in question runs in this namespace. So you want to do kubectl get pods namespace cube system. And here's the one we want. It's called etc master. Now, why do we care to know anything about this pod? Well, it's nice to know if it's running, and it's nice to know a little things about how things work, but in regards to our backup, this is going to give us some key information that we don't have to memorize. So kubectl describe pod etcd master namespace cube system. If we move up, this is where the good information is. You see we have all kinds of great information here. It gives us information about the cert, so our cert file, our server key, and we should have a listen one on here as well. And this goes along with our command. And as you can see, what I mean by that is, if I go back to my documentation, back to this command, this is the command that does the snapshot for us. So you can see here, CA cert. Well, that's where this will come into play. For cert file, that's where server cert will come into play. And for cert key, you pretty much figured it out there. Now you can say, well, here's a whole command. So why do I need this? Well, just in case they take this away, you know how to get it yourself. And notice this API equals 3. What is that all about? Well, let's check it out and see. We're going to do an ETCD help. And notice there's no snapshot commands. I go back to this, notice, look, snapshot. They got the cert key and the trusted cert, but no snapshots. But that's because if you look up here, when you run this command, it defaults to API version 2. We need to use version 3 in order to get snapshot commands. So let's clear the screen again. Let's go back to our documentation, and we should be able to, oh, there it is. There is the command I'm looking for. So I take that, and now we have the snapshot save, snapshot restore, and our snapshot status. And at the very least now, you have an understanding of this whole command now. Especially these parts, and especially why you got API equals 3 here. Okay, we're now ready to run the etcdl command. We're ready to do our backup. So I'm going to take this here, copy, go in a notepad here, do a paste. I'm just going to make this all one line. It's easier for me because I am Linux, not very good with Linux. So endpoint, that's good, 2379. That matches our port on our endpoints. Then we want the CA cert, trusted CA file. Trusted CA file, so we'll put that in here. Whoops. Control C, back to then for the cert file, we'll take this one. Thought I lost my connection there for a second. And then for the key file, save CKA, let's call it snapshot DB. Whoops. DB. So that should be our command to back up a database. Oh, we need sudo in front of it. So there we go. Paste. And looks pretty good. Before we call this complete, I'd like to point out There is a much simpler way. I kind of showed you the very long way of how to back up the database because I wanted to have so you have an understanding of what's happening. But if you scroll up on the same page, up towards the top, see what yeah, here it is. Here's the whole command that you need. Now notice they have the IP address of the master, but you can put localhost there, or the describe command will also give you that as well. But here is the whole command. The other thing they're missing here is the save snapshot part. So, but just in case this is not on the documentation anymore, and it's always good to have an understanding of what you're running. Can never hurt. So, thanks for watching, and on to the next video.